please welcome Christian Herzog, Senior Vice President Marketing of Air France KLM, and Sarah Watson, Group Mobile Manager of Net-a-Porter. Sarah, hi there. Come on. Great. Christian, you were going to start out and give us your views on what is happening, what the strategy is that you, as one of the real global companies, I mean, you can't get much more global than a global airline, what you are doing to increase your brand awareness and what kind of a strategy you have in place.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning to all of you. I would like to start with two personal messages. The first one is for you, Tim. Thanks to have a tie. I feel less alone, but you must be different. And I would like to thank as well Patrick from Capgemini. He said that the travel industry is in the fashionista, but as we have for a long time already Capgemini as a consultant, I'm sure at Air France KLM we are better. So thank you, Patrick, for this. I would like to share with you briefly, these are not my slides.
Nope, wrong presentation.
These are Sarah's slides, I guess.
Yeah, you'll have to ad-lib for a second till the technicians get this straight.
I'm still working for Air France KLM, I do confirm.
We are actually getting questions from the audience. Can we talk about Pierre Robot's shirt? Yeah, that really was a fancy shirt, wasn't it? Is it better to take digital incentives even when not easy to know if it's going to have a media impact or not? That's an interesting one. Yeah, we'll get to them later. I think you are now on.
Exactly. So the first message I would like to share with you is that we are fully aware within Air France that we are going a real transformation. Today, I think we are more than just an airline. We think that we are becoming more and more a mobility pure player. And there are different reasons for this. The first one is that our customers are well equipped. So we have some information we are updating every day. Today, we have 99% of our customers having a mobile. Today, we have 70% of our travelers being equipped with a smartphone. So to 70% of our travelers, we can send a mail during their travel. And we have today 40% of our frequent travelers who have a tablet, and of course, as you know, it was close to zero a few years ago. So our customers are equipped. This is the first reason. And the second reason is that they are addicted. They are sending us a lot of messages. We are dialoguing with our customers. To give you some figures, we have every year 150 million unique visits on the internet. We have today 30 million visits on mobile, and it's increasing by 15 to 20% every month over month. So we are more than doubling every year. And we are in the top 5 in the world concerning social media in our industry. We have 150 million yearly messages viewed on the social media. So our customers are really addicted, and we have a lot of exchanges with them. Concerning mobile, we started, in fact, in 2006 with the first language, WAP, and offering very basic functionalities at the airports. But the real start was very recent. It was in February 2011 with our first modern mobile site and with our first applications. We have today 3 different applications on Apple, Android, and Windows for all these different operating systems. So as I said, we have 30 million visits every year. That's the rhythm today. And we should finish the year 2012 with mobile sales of around 30 million as well in euro. But I think our real talent when we started was not to focus on sales. We wanted to focus on service. So my first message is that we decided to develop mobile first for serving our customer. And we launched in February 2011 Air France Connect, so real-time information for our passengers in case of irregularities. We are informing our passenger every time we are changing the gate departure, for instance, when a flight is delayed or cancelled, or when a luggage will not be delivered on arrival. So we definitely choose to use a CRM tool, not for CRM purposes, not for sales, but for servicing, and that gave us the initial boost on the mobile. The phase we are in today is that we want to go further and develop exclusive services on the mobile. We have two main objectives. The first one is geo-localisation. We want to be, in our airports, the best for localization-based services. We want to work with Aéroport de Paris and be in Charles de Gaulle, the first hub to guide our passenger on departure, in connection, or at arrival. And of course, we know it is very important for our customer, because in airport you have a lot of stress, so to be guided with your mobile is a key service we can offer to our customers. The second thing we want to do is to correct the stupid situation we are in today. Today we are connected on mobiles with our passenger before and after the flight, but not during the real Air France experience, during the flight. Of course, it is quite difficult and challenging, but we will go for it. We will start in February 2013, offering on one of our 777 connectivity on board. And connectivity on board for us is very simple as well. It goes far beyond just offering internet connection, SMS, phone calls, streaming. What we want to do is what you see on the slide. We want to develop a portal of service for our passenger on board, offering 3 services, for instance, the weather forecast at destination, and of course, paying services such as the internet access. So, development of portal of service on board is a key exclusive service we want to offer in the very near future. My last message is that mobile had a very strong impact on our chain of service, on the physical chain of service. So among our next step, we want to leverage together the physical experience, the offline experience of our customer, and the mobile experience. 2 examples here on the slide. First, on the left-hand side, we will equip our frontliners, meaning our crew and our floor workers in the airport, with mobile devices in order to serve our customer everywhere, in any situation, on any subject. We must equip our agent with something equivalent to what the customer has, a mobile device, but of course with more functionality. The second example is that we will launch in February as well, digital press, and this will enrich our press offer, because we will propose to our customer the choice between paper press and digital press. We started in our lounges, and of course this opened a lot of new possibilities, because we will be able to give to a Chinese passenger boarding in Ouagadougou the Chinese newspaper of the day. So that was the messages I wanted to share with you. We are serving first our customers, and we want to leverage together the physical experience and the mobile experience. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Christian. As you said, you want to get the people addicted to mobile. I think they already are, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
We do not need to push them a lot.
I mean, you're a big multinational brand and a company, and I assume that processes in your company go as slow as they do anywhere else. Of course, in this space, you need to be fast. Is that a problem?
That was a first challenge, especially on the mobile. Yes, our life cycle is very often very long. For instance, between the purchase of an aircraft and the delivery, it's something like 10 years. Of course, in the mobile world, that is impossible. Our vision on mobile is the 3 months ahead, because everything is changing. Customer expectations are changing, always in the same direction. They are more demanding, because we are all providing better services on the mobile, so it's a race we have to be in. And of course, the technologies are changing as well. We are launching a release every month on mobile for Air France or KLM. So it's a speedy world, yes.
What are the typical mistakes people make?
Oh, we made some. For instance, we underestimated the link between our own staff and the digital world. So we had some tricky experiences. For instance, I remember one. The first week when we launched Air France Connect, a passenger was on board of the aircraft, waiting at the gate, was informed of the cancellation of the flight, and our crew was not aware. So it's a bit a tricky situation. So we have corrected that. So the link between the real world and the digital world is one of the, not mistake, but aspect we underestimated at the start.
I assume that even at a big company like yours, you have to keep a certain eye on the cost. How do you balance the obvious increased costs of IT development and the need to promote the services? I mean, it's not enough just to have the service. You have to tell people about it.
First, we are very modest, so we are learning by doing. So, for instance, as you know, the different technology have different costs. So we are testing if less costly HTML technology is enough, or if we need to develop a native application. What we are doing as well is monitoring all the return on investment of our actions, and we want to focus more not only on the IT development, we are doing quite a lot, but on the promotion of our services. And if I can share another message, we should focus more on promoting our services. We know it's a real war on the mobile side for visibility. We have to invest on this. We have to invest to convince our customer to use the mobile facilities. For instance, only 12% of our passengers are checking on their mobile, whereas 70% of our passengers could do it. And we should as well increase the contact rate we have. Today we have the mobile contact rate of something like 60% of our customers, which is great, but not enough. We want to go further, so we have to promote and to invest in that as well, and not only in technology.
And what about return? Do you have sources of revenue that you can generate through mobile? Can you do merchandising?
Yes, we have some small sources of revenue. On internet, we are doing Air France only 2 billion euros, 1.5 billion for KLM. I quoted mobile 30 million. But it's not only about revenue, it's about customer satisfaction and customer loyalty as well. Mm-hmm. To come back to Connect, so the real-time information in case of irregularity, really, we have a before and an after in terms of customer satisfaction when something happens, and every day something happens.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Talking about customer satisfaction, you actually have a very neat Facebook app that you didn't talk about, which I love. You can actually go online and see if any of your Facebook friends are traveling, and if they possibly are on the same machine you're on. Yes. And then you can ask to be seated next to this gentleman or this lady. And my favorite fantasy, of course, is that I will always be seated next to a beautiful and charming woman. It hasn't worked up to now, but Sarah, maybe we could team up on that. We would first have to befriend ourselves on Facebook. Sarah Watson is the group mobile manager for the Net-a-Porter group. I hope that my pronunciation is good. French is not one of the two languages I actually speak. You have a brand called Net-a-Porter.com, the world's premier online luxury fashion retailer. And that fashion can be sold online. It used to be a myth that you can't. But I think companies like yourself and Amazon have proved that it actually works. You can actually sell high-class haute couture over the internet. Sarah has given me a statement that I would like to read to you before we start. The most exciting thing about working in mobile is that it is changing the world as we know it, and at such a fast pace. What seems normal now will be old within months, and who knows what the next big thing will be. I hope you know what the next big thing will be, and possibly you can share at least a glimpse of it with us.
Possibly. I can't predict the future, but I can certainly talk about what we're doing at the moment. Thanks very much, Tim. I'm just going to stand up. Hopefully this will work and my slides will come back. So good morning, everybody. Bonjour. Oh, a little ahead of myself there. So hopefully many of you will be familiar with the Net-a-Porter brand. For those of you who aren't, I'm just going to give you a quick introduction. So Tim just mentioned we have Net-a-Porter.com. I'm also practicing my French accent, not quite there yet. Which was founded in the year 2000 by our founder, Nathalie Massenet. Her vision was to create the world's first shoppable magazine, which you could go to online and shop the most fabulous designer items at a click of a button. And it's this kind of fusion between content and commerce, which is what makes the Net-a-Porter group very unique. So next up we have the Outnet, which was launched in 2009. And the Outnet sells designer fashion for up to 75% off. And it also helps its customers to create new season looks with old season stock by the medium of photo shoots and videos and content. And last up we have Mr. Porter, the most recent addition to the Net-a-Porter group. And MrPorter.com is the men's style destination. And it stocks brands such as Gucci, Givenchy, Burberry, and many more. And again, it's very much a focus on both content and commerce. So we've got this unique proposition of content and commerce, and I've explained that to you. But we've also got a mission, and this is an overarching mission across all of our brands. And essentially, we want to help men and women across the globe to be stylish. So how do we go about doing that? Now, our target market isn't that easy to reach, you know. They've got extremely busy schedules, and they're very time poor. They may have kids, they have careers. One day they may be walking the red carpet. The next day, they're jetting off to somewhere exotic. They could be, you know, on the school run. They're all over the place doing all sorts of different things. And they're very, very busy people. They're not necessarily even in the same country. So they're going on holidays, business trips, visiting friends and family. So they're always on the go. But what, thankfully for us, something that's helped us out a bit here, is that they're pretty tech savvy. So a very large proportion of our customers, in fact, some recent research, which was done in April, so it's likely to have increased even more, is that 60% of our customers have an iPhone. So that's just an iPhone. And over a third of our customer base have an iPad. So wherever they are, they've got something that keeps them connected, whether that be a tablet or a mobile or their laptop. So it's our job to make sure that wherever our customer is, that we can reach them by whatever device they decide to use. And for that reason, we've developed optimized mobile sites, which can be used across any mobile device, any smartphone device, sorry. We've also developed apps. We've dabbled a bit with augmented reality. We've even created an outfit builder for men for on their mobile. So never know when they might need to pick and mix a bespoke suit, which they can then order by their phone. And you can see that all of these different things they're developing comes back to this kind of core mission that wherever our customer is, we want to be able to reach them. So I'm just going to show you a quick video now, which will hopefully give you a bit of an introduction to what we've been up to since 2000. Hopefully that'll
Yes, thank you very much, Sarah, for sharing your thoughts with us. I was just thinking when you said that you have a 60% iPhone users among your customers, given that the iPhone market penetration is sort of declining and Android is growing, that must mean that the other 40% are all using Androids, and everybody has a smartphone.
Potentially. I think I was trying to get across there, so we're quite lucky that the demographic of people that still seem to be consuming the Apple products, like the iPad and the iPhone, still very much fits in with our target market, which is why it's still quite a, sort of a specific focus for us, which is why we've developed native apps for both the iPhone and the iPad.
Yeah. Talking about fashionista, as Patrick was before, tell me, do you see any marked difference between people that use a tablet PC, an iPad or an Android tablet with a slightly larger screen, and those that use a smartphone?
Historically, people had generally used their smartphones more for browsing of content, and we saw that the conversion on iPads was a lot better, so they were actually getting to the endpoint and making a purchase. But that's actually changing, and we're seeing now that our customers, it's generally just whatever is the most convenient device. So it might be that they're sitting on the sofa with their iPad, so that's why they'll use that device, or they're on the go and they happen to have their mobile. So we're really seeing growth specifically in sales across mobile.
Mm-hmm. Well, you both represent big brands, big international brands. Is there a difference between the way that you are viewing this? Obviously, as I understood Christian, he is going whole hog for mobile. That's your basic focus at the moment.
Yes, because our business is mobility. Yeah. We are transporting passengers, so we think we are relevant.
Is the emphasis equally strong at Net-a-Porter, or is this still something that you're experimenting with? Is it sort of, you know, a minor part of your total media expenditure, and is this part growing?
It's definitely growing. So how we see mobile, it's not something that's kind of separate, that's sort of siloed in one area of the business. Mobile is an extension of our overall brand. So regardless of whether people want to shop on their desktop, on their mobile, on their tablet, it's about having that seamless experience that can go across all devices. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what we've invested most heavily in is people. Everything we do on mobile and tablet is all developed in-house. And that also spans not only just in our mobile team, where we've kind of got developers, user experience, testers, so we've got a great in-house team there, but also teams across the business. It's about embracing new technology everywhere from marketing, PR, to retail, have to understand mobile and hopefully embrace it.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, you are a almost pure play internet company, aren't you? So you could expect that people in your company are very technology affinitive. How about Air France KLM? I mean, in a certain sense, you are sort of the old economy. Do you encounter resistance?
High technology, but old economy, you're right. You're right.
Do you encounter major resistance within the company to these initiatives of yours?
Yes, some resistance, because very often it's seen as a competitor for our jobs. For instance, the checking agent, if the passenger is checking himself on the mobile, it can be seen as a threat. But it's at the same time a huge enthusiasm. And for instance, on what I mentioned with the mobile device we will give to all our frontliners, there is a real enthusiasm for that, because they will be empowered. They will have a lot of information, a lot of functionalities. So you have the two at the same time, anxiety and high motivation. Mm-hmm.
But of course, Sarah, I assume that everybody in your company is excited about this, so you have wholehearted support from everybody.
Getting that way. I think it's the same in any business, that, you know, there's always the people that are the most forward-thinking. We're just really lucky that part of the Net-a-Porter ethos is around new technology. Even from the very start, when it was launched, you know, it was the first online luxury fashion retailer. In 2009, it was the first, we were the first company to have a shoppable app in the App Store. So this is something that we carry with us. So yeah, hopefully it really is at the heart of our business.
In many companies that I talk to, the mobile part of the business is still kind of an add-on, something they're still experimenting with. They're more or less comfortable with it. But the onus is not really on to paying your way. How is it in your part of the business? Are you under pressure to increase your conversion rates and to essentially pay for all this development work and all this blinking and shiny stuff that you put on the internet? Or are you still allowed a certain leeway and you know, time to play around?
I think we're very lucky in that perspective, actually, but because we've sort of nurtured our own mobile team, so all the people that are working on it in-house, we get around that issue that I know some companies have of having to invest heavily in getting agencies involved and spending a lot of money, especially in terms of things like native apps.
Are you profitable?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you're part of the business. You're actually
the mobile part
earning more than you're spending.
So, actually, sorry, that was what I was going to refer to earlier, was that we're quite lucky in the fact that the mobile team still is given quite free rein to be quite innovative. You know, we're trying new things. Like I said, I mentioned in my presentation, we dabbled a bit with augmented reality. But what it does come back to is the customer. And we see customers shopping on all different devices. So at the end of the day, it's about providing that service. So, but we are definitely seeing growth across both mobile and tablet.
Well, the same applies, Christian, to you. I mean, it's essentially a service. I assume that the pressure is not so great on you to actually
yes, if I may, because
provide results in dollars and cents.
If I may, yes. Our first focus, I think I try to make it clear, is really serving our customer on mobile. Our second focus is to show the catalog of our service and product, whatever the channel the customer will use afterwards. So for instance, today we have 20% of our total e-visits on mobile. We have only 2% of sales. Our customers are looking at what we are selling on the mobile, but they are buying elsewhere. We have no issue with that at all. Concerning sales, I would say we are very cautious, because the mobile is a very personal device. I do not want to be annoyed by too many commercial messages. So the key word is a relevant message at the right time. So for instance, we will promote upgrades offer just before the flight for economy passenger on long-haul flights. When the passenger is in the taxi going to the airport, then the message is relevant. Maybe not 3 days before on your mobile. So the relevancy of the sales offer, I think, is key if we want to still be in touch with our passengers.
Yeah.
That definitely resonates true for Net-a-Porter as well. We've just recently started using push notifications, which some people are in favour of, some people are not. But at the end of the day, the people shopping on Net-a-Porter are after, the fashion, the latest fashion that's just come out. It's really very time sensitive. Some of these bags that come out, they're sold out within seconds. So we're really using that bit of technology to be able to communicate with our customers as quickly as we can. So the beauty of push notifications is as soon as something happens, so as soon as the new upload is on the site, we can inform our customers instantly, and that's hopefully a benefit to them.
How about the willingness to actually buy with your smartphone? Or do people still use the smartphone sort of as an information conduit and then go home and do the actual purchase on their PC or on their laptop?
I think we see both. We do see a large amount of people that are browsing on their mobiles, but we also see sales coming through as well. I think the beauty of the mobile and how it's going to evolve is that, in some respects it can be almost better than the desktop. You've got a retina screen. Using our app, you can zoom right into the images. You can get right up close. It's not like you're getting a lesser experience because you're on your mobile.
Mm-hmm. What we are seeing on Air France is that people are buying goods they are used to buy. So we are selling a lot of domestic flights for regular and frequent traveler. We are less selling very long-haul flights where you need a bit more advice, I guess, or thinking before buying. Mm-hmm.
And possibly the secretary actually buys the ticket, or the travel department in the company.
You asked at several occasions the return on investment. There is a huge one. Of course, it's difficult to measure, but which is communication. Recently, we announced with our chairman a lot of improvements concerning Air France, in-flight improvement and so on. The only thing which was really relayed by the press was the digital press and connectivity on board. So the return on investment, if you are doing sexy things, in terms of communication, is huge.
Okay. We're getting comments from the audience, by the way. One is a compliment, Sarah. We are loving your shoes. They really are snazzy. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you if you bought them online. We also are getting a slightly more pertinent question. How do you measure profitability of apps? Production, development cost versus sales. Do you have a metric for that?
We do. The KPIs are downloads initially. So for the Net-a-Porter app, we've got just under 1 million. And then we look at how many people, like retention, so how many people continue to use it, because a lot of time you get, a lot of downloads right at the beginning, and then are those people still, logging in, using their apps, and then we also measure sales.
Mm-hmm. Do you do lots of A/B testing to improve your apps?
What we do is similar to what Christian mentioned, is we have an update schedule, so every 6 weeks we're adding new features, making improvements. There's a feedback button in all of our apps, so we're constantly looking at what customers are asking for, and hopefully improving them in response to that.
Do you also do split testing? Different versions of an app for different audiences?
We don't at the moment, but it is something that I could see would be, a great benefit.
Yeah, and Christian, how about on your side, the costs, the profitability of apps? Is there a way to measure it?
Yes, there are different ways, of course, because there are different benefits. We measure the cost savings we are doing thanks to the autonomy of our customer. They are doing more and more all the different transactions themselves. So, of course, we are monitoring the cost savings. We are monitoring customer satisfaction concerning our application. We are monitoring the increase in loyalty. So, of course, it is key. We are not profitable yet, that the digital world help us to return as quickly as possible to profitability.
We have an audience question here on the system which actually pertains exactly to that for both of you. How important is CRM, do you actually tie in with your existing CRM systems? Do they interact, or do you have standalone systems? What are you doing in terms of social CRM?
So we are starting this. We have invested a lot in CRM. We have a kind of big brother now for Air France and KLM internally. So we have a platform powered by Unica, where we have all the customer events available. That's why we can select, for instance, a Chinese person traveling in economy between Paris and Rome, for whom we have lost the luggage and who experienced a delay the flight before, for instance. We invest a lot in CRM because of what I mentioned. You must be relevant. And we are investing a lot in teams to learn by doing. So we are changing the segmentation. We are going very far, almost to the individual. We are changing the wordings, and we are learning by doing, looking the evolution of the click rate, of the purchase rate. So it's what I mentioned as well. Once you have developed the big IT tool, it is the start, it's not the end. You have to take on board and to, do all the business work to make it efficient.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, what are you doing at Net-a-Porter to sort of capture the wishes and desires of your customers and then play back to them, so individualize content? Is that an opportunity that you are grasping, or is it sort of future?
No, it's definitely something we're looking at now. Obviously, mobile is a very personal device, and although Net-a-Porter has a kind of a global strategy, so we deliver to 170 countries across the world, and it's about being able to have this sort of overarching strategy, which is that everybody should be able to shop on whatever device they like, on whatever device they choose. But then it's also personalizing that experience. So it starts, like Christian said, with the technology, and then it comes down to just optimizing until you have that perfect product. And it might start with things like having individual currencies, down to personalized content, different services for different places. So that's definitely the direction we're going in.
What we will do as well within Air France and KLM, today we are sending some push messages, as I said, as targeted as possible. The next step we will launch in 2013, we will put the customer in control. One example, there are two types of passengers regarding boarding. The one who wants to board first and the one who wants to board at last. So he will choose if he will get a message when we start boarding or for the last call. And of course, he will know the time, which is the most relevant for him. So putting the passenger in control is quite important as well. He has to choose the message he receives.
I like this idea of yours that you would broadcast to your flight attendants information about individual customers. I'm a Gold Card member, and once I was flying and I was very tired, and all of a sudden the steward came up to me and said, "Mr. Cole, can I bring you anything?" And I was sitting back in the economy class, you know, and I looked at him and said, "Do we know each other?" "No," he says, "but I have this little list of my Gold Card holders, you know." And now everybody is a Gold Card holder.
Yeah, today we have a paper list. We are moving to internet list, of course. We are doing it on the laptop. All our chief personnel are equipped with laptop, and we have some details, yes, about our customers.
Okay, so
but
flying,
no secret, no personal secret.
Yeah. So flying hopefully will be even much more rewarding experience for all of us who have to fly all the time. Like me yesterday, which was very difficult getting to Paris. For some reason, from Salzburg to Paris, you can't get there from here. Yes, well, thanks very much, Sarah Watson and Christian.
One question out of the audience, and then we start.
Okay. Do you have a...
Yes, one or two questions.
Okay, you have to wave so that I see you. We have two questions here that we can take. We have another minute or so left.
I am... And my question is for you, Christian. At Capgemini, we also do a lot of work with airports. And increasingly, some of the airports that we work with around the world, such as Heathrow, are working to create a digital hub from the airport environment. But often the relationships between the airlines and the airports are actually quite fraught. So could you give us some insight into how you're working with major airport hubs around the world to optimize your passenger experience?
As I mentioned, we are first working with Aéroport de Paris, because of course we have to start first with our hubs of Orly and Charles de Gaulle. And we will work with our partners airline, such as Delta, for instance, to leverage the digital facilities in their own hubs. So we are doing it in partnership. It's a battle. It's a battle. You're right. I'm pleased to hear it's the case in Heathrow as well. I hope it will continue. We think we have a real opportunity with Aéroport de Paris, who invested a lot, to be the first hub to really do this in conjunction. Of course, we want all of us to own the customer. We have to avoid that discussion and just focus on servicing the customer. And I'm sure we will implement in Roissy very shortly high-quality geolocalization services.